What's up, guys? M. Jones back in the house again for another in-theater review. And tonight, alongside of me, my main man, Jim Bob.
What's up, guys?
So, we just left from seeing the movie Creed. Now, before we say anything else, this is spoiler alert video.
If you haven't seen it and you don't want to know,
Yeah.
turn this off right now,
Right.
go see the movie, and then come back.
Right, so if you've seen it, watch this. Or if you don't want to see it, you just want to get the scoop, watch this. But if you really want to see this movie and you don't want to know, sorry, turn this off, okay? I've never really done a spoiler alert kind of video before, so this is kind of the first time for myself. But we kind of talked about it on the way home. I said, do you want to do spoiler or a spoiler-free one? And he's like, have you ever done a spoiler? I said, no. He goes, well, let's do a spoiler one. So that's why we're doing it. So
we should talk in depth about the movie. I mean, it was
right.
Start off, Creed, excellent movie.
Yes, yeah.
Excellent movie. Part of the Rocky franchise. Kind of picks up, years after the Rocky Balboa, which came out in 2008, I believe.
Right.
Starring Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Creed, who is the son of an affair from Apollo Creed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Michael B. Jordan, Adonis Creed, Sylvester Stallone reprising his role as famous Rocky Balboa.
Right.
And Apollo Creed's widow.
Apollo Creed's widow was
Miss Cosby, right?
Yeah, something with what's her name?
Rashad.
Yeah, something. She was
Ahmad
Mrs.
Rashad's wife. I don't know.
Yeah, I forget her name. Oh my God, it's awful. I forget her name.
We'll
figure it out.
Let's call her Mrs. Rashad. She reprises her role as Apollo Creed's widow. And I mean, the movie starts off a young Adonis Creed in youth detention center,
right?
And
in 1998,
yeah, he's a good kid from what they say, but he just keeps getting in fights and he keeps wrecking kids in fights too because it's in his blood, as we know.
Right, he likes to fight. So
And then
stop fighting.
Apollo, Mrs. Rashad, Mrs. Creed, whatever, she comes and she talks to him and pretty much says, I was married to your father, and I would like you to come live with me. Mm-hmm. And then it skips ahead to today when Adonis is, a grown man and he's fighting down in Tijuana, Mexico just to make some money and because he loves fighting.
And just beating the hell out of everyone down there.
Was that Felicia Rashad?
It's Felicia Rashad.
Felicia Rashad.
Yeah.
Okay, so Felicia Rashad, she reprises her role. Mm-hmm. And so, he's working at a really nice business in California, Los Angeles. And, it's just not for him. And so he turns in his letter of resignation, and
after getting a promotion,
it's
like, dude, don't do that.
He goes to the gym where his father trained, Apollo, and the trainer there is like, I'm not going to train you. These guys fight for their lives. They fight to live. So I'm not going to train you. So then he tries to challenge everyone in the gym, and he says, "You can hit me. Here's the keys to my Mustang. You can have it." And he beats the first guy, and then the next guy is like this. Like number 2 in the world.
Danny Stuntman Wheeler.
Yeah, and so he's just
bad bitch.
He's just like, let's go, and he just knocks him the fuck out.
Apollo Creed learned.
Adonis Creed.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Adonis Creed. He's gonna learn today. he got laid out, Adonis.
So he got knocked out, and this was just in a gym, like just fucking around. Mm-hmm. And so he decides, he's watching the old fights of his dad and Rocky. And then he decides he's going to go to Philadelphia because he wants to take this he wants to be the real deal. He wants to fight. So he goes and finds Rocky Balboa in Philly at his restaurant that he owns that we saw in the Rocky Balboa movie, Adrian's. And he's. I love that he calls him his uncle. He calls him Unc.
Yeah, he said, "Hey Unc." He goes, "Why do you call me Unc?" He's like, I call you OG. He goes, "What's that?" He's like, that's
original gangster.
He goes, "You call me Unc, it's cool."
It's great. It was great. And so I mean, he's trying to get Rocky to train him. And, he lets him know that I'm Apollo's son. I know all this stuff. And Rocky's really hesitant on it. So Adonis goes to Mickey's gym, which is now owned by other people, and it's really nice. It's like a really nice gym now.
Very new, very new. New weights, new everything, new equipment.
And he pretty much trains himself. The guy who owns it's like, hey, extra $20 a month, I'll help you out, give you some stuff. But he's really training his son. He's a pretty good fighter.
Money pit.
Yeah, and so he knows he's not getting anything, and Rocky keeps saying no, but he writes down a workout plan for him. And then Rocky reminisces. He goes to the cemetery where he's been visiting Adrian since Rocky Balboa, and Paulie has passed away in 2012.
Major spoiler there, Paulie passed
away. Paulie passes away.
2012, he passed away in the gravestone.
Yeah, which I figured because he wasn't in any of the advertising.
Right, Burt Young.
Yeah, Burt Young. And Burt Young was in every movie up to this point.
Right.
And so Burt Young, Paulie wasn't there. So Rocky's just sitting there, and he's talking to both of them like he does every day. He's reading the newspaper, and you can just see, he knows that he should be helping this kid. Like, this kid wants his help.
Yeah.
So he goes to Mickey's.
He was there. You could feel it.
Yeah, he was. And so he goes to Mickey's gym, and he finds Adonis, and he's like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this the right way. And so him and Rocky are training, some cool training montages. And then the owner of Mickey's wants his son to fight Rocky. Not Rocky, excuse me, Adonis Creed. He comes to Rocky about
I'm looking for Rocky.
And
old.
And so he comes to Rocky and he wants him to fight, and Adonis is like, I really want to fight. So they make it happen. They train. Meantime, during all this, the love interest for Adonis, Bianca, actress, name slipping me.
I have no idea who she was.
Yeah, she seems brand new on the stage.
She's very light skinned, African American. Had a very pretty voice. She could sing in the movie. That was really her voice. I don't know who she was. I have no idea who she was. But she fit the bill for the movie. It was right. I like the fact it wasn't someone we knew. It wasn't like Rihanna or something like cheesy. It was like an unknown actress. So I love that.
She was very. She feels like she was someone you could walk up to the street, and if you were Creed, you could have a chance with her. But I mean, it kind of reminisces of the original, original Rocky, because Adrian wasn't perfect. This girl's not perfect because she's a musician, but she's losing her hearing, so she's going to be deaf, unfortunately.
So it's very realistic.
It's very realistic, and she's not perfect. No one is, but they were perfect for each other, and they hit it off, and they have their ups and downs, but we're not going to go too in depth into that, but they end up staying together.
Right. Her name was Tessa Thompson, by the way, in real life. She was in When a Stranger Calls, which is not a bad movie. She was in Dear White People. And she was also in a phenomenal movie last year that was nominated called Selma.
Okay.
So
I did not see Selma.
Yeah, I did. It was very good. So she was in that. So anyway.
Okay. So Adonis gets this fight. They advertise it heavy. The kid's dad comes to Rocky before the fight and says, "Hey, I know who this kid is. I looked it up. This is Apollo Creed's son." And Rocky's like, well, "Let's just keep that on the down low. He wants to keep his, make his own name," which he goes by Donnie pretty much the entire
Johnson.
Donnie Johnson.
You mean Miami Vice?
But Johnson is his birth mother's name, who passes away. So that's what he took that for. Yeah, and this fight, he's down a little bit, but then Rocky tells him what to do, and he's like, "Trust me, your dad did it. It worked." And he knocks this kid out. And was it the second round? And people go crazy, and he starts
Leo.
Yeah,
that's his name. Cool.
And
Leo the Lion Speroni.
Yeah, Hollywood Donnie though.
Yeah,
that's what they called him.
Yeah, they didn't know he was legit. Had good blood.
So then it shows, the real world aspect, a fake episode of Pardon the Interruption. And it's because the trainer's dad definitely leaked it out that he was Apollo Creed's son.
100%.
So now that's out, and his main opponent for the movie, It's Colin.
The main opponent was Pretty Ricky Conlon.
Conlon, that's it.
Pretty Liverpool, England,
and he was supposed to fight the guy that knocked Adonis Creed out for his Mustang in the beginning. The Wheeler guy.
Stuntman Donnie Wheeler.
Conlon breaks Wheeler's jaw at their weigh-ins.
Yeah.
So
that didn't happen.
That doesn't happen. And Conlon, he needs this one more big fight because he's going to jail because he like brought a gun into a clubs, and this is like his last chance to have big money. And his promoter's like, I want to make sure your kids have a roof over their head. We need one more big fight. So he sees the name in Creed and says, okay, well this is gonna gonna be that big money fight that we need, and it's a sure thing. So they come to Rocky. He's not sure. Him and Adonis go back and forth on it. And then finally, Adonis is like, I'm ready. I want this. And Rocky's like, okay, let's make it happen. So we start to get the big training. And then at one point, Rocky is training with Adonis, which he hadn't done yet in the movie. He's kind of just been the vocal guy in the corner because he has all these other people doing stuff for him.
He's taking shots,
and you could tell that this wasn't going to end well. Rocky collapses in the ring, and he has to go to the hospital. And then gets released, and then he goes back because the doctor took tests. He has non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, early form of cancer, and the doctor's like, we need to remove it from your lymph nodes. And we need to start you on chemotherapy. And Rocky gets emotional because
Adrian went through it and it didn't work. She passed away. So he was like, he's like, everyone else in my life is gone. I'm the only one that's from the past, and everyone else has a future. So he feels like he really he wants to naturally just go. And because of that, the character of Adonis, he's like, well, if I have to fight, you have to fight.
Yeah, he finds pamphlets because Rocky says to the doctor, no thank you. Adonis finds the pamphlets, and he's real pissed, and he's just like, come on, we're family. And then Rocky says what he shouldn't have said. He goes, we're not family, I'm just your trainer. And Adonis gets all pissed, and when he walks out, Rocky just sits down, and he's like, why did you say that? Why did I say that? So then Adonis goes to Bianca's show, which she has, what's that place called?
Electric Factory.
The Electric Factory.
Philly.
Where
very popular spot.
She said, like, the Roots got their start there, Joe.
John Legend.
So it was a big deal for her. He goes to see her backstage, and her headliner, was this even a real dude? His name was like something Trump. I don't know. He was like a gangster rapper that had like his entourage, and he was just like, yo, let me get a picture, and he like got a picture with him. He goes,
thanks, baby Creed.
Baby Creed, and
don't call me that.
Donnie ain't having that shit. So he gets in a fight, knocks him out, gets arrested.
Embarrasses Bianca.
She's pissed. He gets arrested. Rocky comes to jail to let him out. They have their little heart-to-heart, crying. Adonis stays overnight. He comes out. Bianca's pissed at him, but we already know they're going to end up back together.
Right.
It was so cliche. Just like you said, that fight when he punches the rapper.
It's the only part of the whole movie I did not like because I knew it was going to happen. It's like, be unique, don't be typical. I know it's a part of a storytelling. I get that. I said, hey, something's going to happen here. He's going to get in a fight. And
he's not lying either. Really, he said this isn't good. Something bad's going to happen.
I said someone's going to get in a fight.
I
was pissed because it's like, don't be cliche.
It was predictable.
I hate cliche.
Him and Rocky had this heart to heart, and he's like, if I fight, you fight.
Yeah, for chemotherapy, for obviously Adonis fighting pretty Ricky Conlon.
Yeah, so when Rocky's getting his chemo, he's having Adonis do all this work in the hospital. They're like, oh hey, like they like it. He's running stairs, push-ups, all that crap. And he's not with Bianca this whole time. He's training hardcore for the fight. Misses her. And there's this one really like iconic scene. I got chills. He turns to me when it's over. He goes, that was really cool.
Yeah.
He's running through the streets
uphill in Philly.
Uphill. He has his gray hoodie on, kind of like Rocky does, and it's kind of like a cultural thing, I guess, in the city. Like they're on dirt bikes and like four wheelers, and they do wheelies and shit. And when he's running, he's like, "Come on, let's go!" And they're all following him, and he's running, just sprinting, and then he like screams. And the music, it felt like a little, Gonna Fly Now.
Right.
But it had like, a little more of like a hip hop.
He got so much beat. Like endorphins and like great. I was like, oh God, I'm ready, dude. I'm ready.
And like, he's standing outside the gym, and he's going like this. He's like, come on, Rock.
Jim and Aaron are like.
And meanwhile, the girl in front of us is clapping and going crazy, which is not a lie. She was losing her mind. This was her Super Bowl. So, so it's time for the fight. He's in Liverpool, England. Press conference. Conlon is like, screw you, you're nobody, and Rocky's just
he
like,
is.
don't listen to him.
Don't listen to him.
And so he brings Bianca over to Liverpool. Rocky does. He tries to be all slick about it. It was hilarious. He's like, "Did you hear that? Is there a knock at the door?"
He's like, why do you keep looking back? He's like, I'm not looking back.
So they brought Bianca there. They made up. They were fine. They didn't have any conversation about it, which I was fine with. It's like she was there. You knew they were okay.
Yeah.
And then they get there, and there's a present in the box waiting for Adonis. And I knew this because I saw this in the trailer. He was wearing his father's old shorts with the stars and stripes. On the front, it said Creed. On the back, it said Johnson. And from Marianne is what her name is. Marianne Creed. Apollo. It says make your own name. Which, you're just like, oh yeah, let's go.
Like make your own legacy or something like
make
that.
your own legacy, make your own name, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And,
And he's fighting in Liverpool, which is odds are against him. The fans are against him. And you could just tell the movie was kind of setting up for what we were thinking would be similar to the first Rocky. The underdog, no one knows him, no one's cheering for him, but by the end of it, everyone's cheering for him. So
Yeah.
it felt like the first movie. I really thought different on how it was going to end. And we're going to again, this is a major spoiler, but he goes 12 rounds with this guy.
and it's really like first round, he's getting kicked around. You're like, oh, this kid stands no chance. Second round, he fucking lays.
Gets him right.
He lays a good blow on him,
Yeah.
gets him cut, and they go back and the music
Right.
playing during
Yeah.
this. When that ended, I said that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that was really
the,
exciting.
The second round, and then
shot for shot for shot for shot.
and then it's the whole montage,
Right.
going through rounds. They're
Yeah.
trading blows.
Yeah.
Rocky's, giving him motivation
Yeah.
in between rounds.
One has a good round, the other one has a good round, the other one has a good round, and then you have all the inspirational stuff, and Rocky's telling them all this stuff, and it's motivating. I think everybody, including us in the theater, like it was just awesome. The movie was so reminiscent to me of the first Rocky.
Absolutely.
Which
which is how Rocky Balboa back in 2008 kind of felt too.
Yeah, like I just felt like in this movie, Rocky was more Mickey from the first movie, and obviously Adonis was more Rocky from the first movie. And it just, I loved it because it made me relive me growing up watching these movies on VHS and like how much I loved Rocky and how I've always loved Philadelphia because of sports. And so like I love the movie just because of that. But the movie goes 12 rounds, and every round is 3 minutes.
11th round, Adonis's eye. I kept
It's
saying
like that. It's like that times 9 of swelling.
And
it's
so
like this.
and so the ref is like, doctor, come over here, and the doctor covers his right eye, which is fine. His left eye's all swollen up, and he's like, how many fingers am I holding up? And he's holding up 4, and the trainer goes on his neck.
Rocky does.
Was that Rocky? I thought it was.
He put his hand
he
like
goes,
that.
1, 2, 3, 4, and taps at 4. He goes 4, and then how many now this time? He goes 2. And I was like, "Oh, that's close." That must be an old fighter.
Jim Bob, we learned something.
That must be an old fighter trick. So they let him go in, and Rocky's like, "I should have pulled your dad out in that fight. I'm doing this now." He goes, "I don't want to go on with this fight with me if you're not there with me." Mm-hmm. And he's just like, "I can do this." He goes, "If you're going to do this and you're going to do this fight, knock him out. Knock him on his."
He knocked his son of a bitch out.
That's what he said.
And he goes, "Say it. I'm going to knock this son of a bitch out." Then he was like, and then he just start, and then that 12th round starts, and it was definitely more pro Adonis for sure for the judge's eye, and he lays out Ricky Conlon at the very end.
First time Conlon's ever been knocked down,
right?
And it's the end of the fight, and they have to give the 10 seconds, and it gets to 8, it gets to 9, and then
he gets
he's fine.
up. Yeah, and he gets up, and they don't leave it by the bell. They're never saved by the bell, especially in the 12th round in a WBC fight. So at the very end, it was a split decision, and Ricky Conlon retained. But it felt like Rocky because Rocky lost the first fight in the first of the movie. So
Conlon was definitely
very humble.
Yeah, he goes to Adonis. He goes, "You're the future."
Yeah, because this guy is going to probably go to jail, Ricky Conlon. So I think there's definitely going to be a sequel. I think we both agree.
Well, we agreed on that.
And I will say it's going to be what I like now because he was telling me about this in the car is that this guy's going to go to jail for probably 7 years. So the second movie, so if it's like Creed 2, it probably won't be with this pretty Ricky Conlon.
No,
it'll probably be with the guy that he was going to fight. Which
was Wheeler, who took his Mustang.
Danny Stuntman Wheeler. So it sets it all up for a second one. So again, this is our guesstimation, but I think it's pretty damn accurate, and I think we definitely figured it out. So
the whole crowd was chanting Creed at the end, and then at the very end,
the Liverpool crowd, not the theater,
and then the theater might as well been. Everyone there was pretty pumped, and then it ends with Rocky and Adonis going up the stairs, and it was very iconic because
at the museum,
at the museum steps,
Philly,
Rocky is climbed up and sprinted up and jumped up and down. He barely made it to the top.
Yeah, because I think they had more steps.
Yeah, that was his little comment.
Give me something to drink.
He goes, I think they have more stairs here. So overall, let's talk about this movie as a whole.
Oh.
It was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Okay, your rating out of 10. Go ahead and give me your rating.
I usually do 1 out of 5, but I'll do
You want to go 5? I'll do whatever you do.
I'm gonna say 5.
5 out of 5.
And I usually don't do that, but I love the movie because it reached a point in all aspects of life. Like Jimmy Valvano said, you should always think, you should always cry, you should always laugh. And I had to do all 3. So I really loved the movie. I was so anxious for him to do well, and I'm thinking, and I was a little teared up, and I was also laughing because it was so witty and so full of humor. So the movie to me did everything that I strive to do every day, and everything I tell, like for example, my wrestlers that I coach. So I really love the movie that much. A few cliches that did not bother me or hamper the grade, but I really thought it was perfect. It was a wonderful movie. Like, it was Rocky.
Yeah,
it was Rocky
it was.
1. It was Rocky 1, but for our generation of younger kids.
I mean,
it was perfect movie. It was a great movie.
I have to agree. 5 out of 5 for me. One of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Especially sports.
Yeah, sports films especially. I'm
Yeah.
a huge Rocky franchise.
Me too.
I love it.
too.
I loved Sylvester Stallone coming back because how this movie started. Director of Fruitvale Station, and
Michael B. Jordan's baby. Right?
and Michael B. Jordan was the main actor. That director came to Sylvester Stallone with this idea, and Sylvester Stallone right away said, "No, I'm good." He came back to him again, and he really must have pitched it well because he did.
Right.
And so, I mean, it was a great job. Michael B.
Right.
Jordan, one of my favorite actors. I loved him in Friday Night Lights.
Very good.
Everything that he's done.
Don't see that
has
awkward
been-
moment. That was horrible.
Has been really good.
Right.
But
yeah,
that awkward moment's really bad.
Awful. Great movie. I really Chronicles good.
Yeah.
Very good. Very
Real
good
good.
movie.
Sylvester Stallone. Let's talk Oscars here because a lot of people have. If he doesn't get a nomination for Best Supporting
Actor,
I mean, I don't think he would win because, like you were telling me, the judges are so weird. But if he doesn't get a nomination for this role that he's been doing since the 70s, which he got nominated in the beginning, and now he's playing this almost 40 years later.
This character to me reminds me of like Bruce Dern from Nebraska. Just kind of just out there, but he was great at one point in his life. And I don't think he'll win, like Jim Bob said, but I think that a nomination is absolutely granted. I think he earned it.
Absolutely.
I don't think he's going to win because there's a lot of good movies coming out in the next 2.5 months, right before the Oscar season pretty much comes to a close for judging. But I think Sylvester Stallone definitely earned it because he was so
believable.
He's so believable. That's the one word, but the other word I'm trying to think of was he was so. I don't think there was a script for him. He just went with what he believed in.
I think he felt at home. Like Rocky,
this is his role.
Rocky Balboa is his baby, and
he wrote it. Right, he was poor.
Two things I just want to bring up with Sylvester Stallone, and then we'll move on from him and just the film and just end it up here. First time that he hasn't written, directed, produced a Rocky type movie. This is a Rocky movie. It doesn't say Rocky, but it's the Rocky franchise.
It's definitely Rocky, yeah.
He got to focus on just acting. He didn't have to worry about getting all pumped up for his fight scenes and training scenes, which he would always do first in his movies when he was already jacked after training for months. He just focused on acting, and he was really able to show his range. I mean,
I loved him.
There was a scene where Michael B. Jordan picks up a picture at Rocky's house, says, "Is this your son?" And it's a picture of Stallone's real son,
Sage Stallone,
who passed away a few years ago tragically. And when he's talking about him, you can see there's tears in his eyes. I mean, that's a part that you're talking about where you cry a little bit because it was sad, and
you felt his pain.
You felt his pain. And second of all, I mean, he's just the transformation. And I didn't notice this till the end credits because they show pictures from start of the movie throughout. They physically transformed him while he was going through chemotherapy. I mean, he looked so much younger and healthier in the beginning of the movie. At the end, like he looks like you don't know if he has hair because he's got a hat on. I mean, he looks like he's dying.
Yeah.
Like you thought he really had it. So I mean, the physical transformation too. Like people like that. The critics seem to like that. I think it definitely deserves a nod.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan was fantastic. Don't know if he'll get nominated. I mean, it was a great performance, but I don't know if it's Oscar worthy. The film and the film
unfortunately.
itself, as I've seen other critics say, it could get nominated because they nominate up to 10 films sometimes.
Right, I mean they usually do 8, but I mean the movie. I mean, if we're talking sports here, if ESPYs were like also sports movies, it would be the best movie all year for sports.
Absolutely.
But that's just strictly sports performance.
What
But
about Dodgeball Underdog Story?
it's classic. But I really love the movie, and I know we've talked a lot to you this evening, but it's something that I think a movie that's 5 out of 5. We better have a long video to explain why, because you shouldn't just like say 5 out of 5 if you don't have any reason, if it's
Absolutely.
arbitrary. So I know I loved it. I know Jim Bob loved it. I suggest you see it.
I think I'm
if
gonna
you
go
haven't already, because you've watched this video.
I'm going to go see it one more time in theaters, I
Yeah.
think, because just that whole, like, the surround sound and the big screen and the
Wow.
action. I mean, like, sometimes there was people, like, shouting that I thought were shouting in the theater. But it was
the referee.
It was like the referee.
God, 2, 3. I'm like, dude.
So,
No,
I mean,
it wasn't anybody.
5 out of 5. I mean,
Yeah.
both of us agree.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
to go see this movie.
Yeah.
If you've already seen it, see it again. I'm going to own it. I'm sure it'll be part of a future Blu-ray collection video for you. You got anything else you want to say?
I do not. I hope that obviously if you watch this whole video it's because you did see it or you have no interest at all to see it. So we did put on there spoiler alert. So don't be mad at myself or Jim Bob.
One more thing.
Apologies.
Yeah. If you like this video and other videos of the M. Jones here, I sometimes
Guest.
guest commentate with
You do
him.
wonderfully.
Thank you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Yeah.
And the like button
The
too.
more the merrier.
We're trying to get this
You know,
guy's stats
It is
up,
almost Merry Christmas soon, so
Yes.
the more the merrier.
and
All right.
we're gonna say Merry Christmas
Yeah,
too.
and be looking this week for a Blu-ray update. I have a
Ooh.
humongous laundry list of titles to go over.
I saw there's a bunch of them there. Some upstairs. I saw them.
Yeah, I've been doing sort of more bringing up the artillery pretty hard. So I'm gonna have a really big Blu-ray update, probably within this week. I would say definitely in the next couple days. So be checking back for that. But until then, you take it easy and bye.
Goodbye.